Brain Twisters is a 1991 mad science film about a college professor who's molding young minds to murder. Written and directed by Jerry Sangiuliano, Brain Twisters stars Terry Launderi, Joe Lombardo, and Farrah Fork. In a sleepy college town, a professor recruits his students to beta test a virtual reality program that he's developing. However, continued exposure to the experiment appears to trigger subliminal and violent reactions in the students, and the professor seems to know more about it than he lets on. A police detective's on his trail, but the cop's starting to get distracted by one of the professor's students, and she also happens to be one of the professor's guinea pigs. Who will die next, and who will kill them? Brain Twisters was Sangiuliano's first feature film made in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area where he lived. The film was released at a time when the console wars between Nintendo and Sega were bringing video games into more homes than ever before, which explains the title of the film because, spoilers, the professor's research is all about creating the next addictingly violent video game. But while similar films leaned harder into the killer video game concept, Brain Twisters seemed more interested in an intellectual exploration. Does technology dehumanize us or merely decivilize us? Does it change us or reveal us? As a sci-fi film, this is in the next day sci-fi category. No wild dystopias or gelatinous monsters on screen. Brain Twisters doesn't offer a lot of tech speak or give a lot of hard science to geek over. It leans too hard on its own mysteries, without giving any particular plotline enough urgency to propel the viewers through the film. So, yeah, it's a slow watch. As a horror film, Brain Twisters is quite modest, with meager effects, both of the computer and of the makeup kind. There are 10 on-screen fatalities with a touch more of the red than broadcast television standards, but nothing graphic enough for grindhouse taste. People jump out windows, get strangled, hit by cars, get shot and stabbed, both by knives and a very sturdy manicure. The deaths are either implied or unconvincing. As a production, Brain Twisters has the kind of campus location, stage-trained performances, and low-budget art direction you might expect from a student film, relying on the story's concept to overshadow the production's limitations. Some of the images and scenes exhibit style, but not enough to give the film a strong identity. Even the mad scientist is rather subdued, less creating crimes against nature in the lab, and more creeping on his barely legal students. Among the film's cast is Farrah Fork, as the co-ed that ends up under the policeman's watchful eye. In the fall of '92, Fork made her first appearance on the NBC sitcom Wings as helicopter pilot Alex Lambert. Her character was on the show for 2 seasons. Fans of superhero shows might recognize her from her appearances on Lois and Clark, or as the voice of Big Barda on Justice League Unlimited. Brain Twisters would be Sangiuliano's sole feature film, but Sangiuliano did revisit some of Brain Twisters' themes in later projects. Hello Goodbye, a 2005 entry in the Berkeley Video and Film Festival, has a sea of computer-edited faces saying a series of greetings and farewells in a variety of ways, a cacophony of voices that melds in and out of a single form. The 2000s gave Sangiuliano new tools to bring his intended ideas to life through several experimental film shorts. He collaborated with his daughter, Alicia Sangiuliano, on the short film Walking Daydream. Alicia inherited her father's affinity for photography while forging her own path as an artist and photojournalist. In 2013, Brain Twisters would get a re-edit with additional footage and effects. That cut would be re-released under the name Fractals, where the director flexed his acquired effects knowledge to augment the perspectives of the professor's test subjects. If you're looking for freaky imagery, that's the version you want to see. But if you're watching the 1991 version, you'll have to set aside the stage of production and search for the concepts under the surface. Sure, the idea of technology triggering a more primal and humane mind may seem a simplistic argument to make, but have you been on social media in the last few years? Do you remember the Microsoft AI experiment known as Tay and why they shut her down within 24 hours of connecting her to the internet? When our tools allow us to act faster than our minds can comprehend, leaving us to keep up through instinct and suggestion, what do we become?